Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together in here and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is YAHUAH. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that you do not obey him. If we do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that we do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Exodus chapter 19, give me verse 1. Let's jump right into it. I imagine we're going to shoot through this real quick. We'll probably stop before we get to Exodus 25. We'll probably stop at Exodus 24. But let's go ahead and get through it and let's see, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited, so let's go ahead and get to it. It's Exodus chapter 19, verse 1. Watch the book say.
In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
Right? So then a couple chapters ago last week, we read about in the second month, right? The second month after. So remember, they came out in the month of Abib. We were told that that was going to be the first month for us. Then there was the second month. Now this is the third month. So this is 3 months later from coming out from coming out from Egypt. After that 3 months, now we come to the Mount Sinai. Now the Mount Sinai is the same as Mount Horeb. So this is the same mountain that Moses was tending the sheep, right? And when he was tending the sheep, or, you know what I'm saying, tending the cattle, the burning bush, you know what I'm saying? He saw the burning bush and the burning bush started talking to him. And the Most High God spoke from the bush and said that he would bring the children of Israel back here, right? So he told them that this is how you know. You know, this is how you know what I'm talking about for real. You gonna bring them back right here. So this has to be a special moment for him because he's looking like, you know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes some stuff's supposed to happen and you don't even realize it happened the way it's supposed to happen until it's like that last moment and then it hit you. It's like, oh, it really played out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think it was gonna work, but it actually played out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what's happening here. You know what I'm saying? Moses is looking like, oh, they actually worked out. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said it was, right? So let's pick it up. This is Exodus chapter 19, verse 1. This is 3 months.
In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians.
He said, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians. Notice that that's how he lead it off, right? So clearly what he did to the Egyptians was to prove to them like, yeah, no, I'm that guy. You know what I'm talking about? That's me. You know what I'm saying? So he first started off, well, you seen what I did to them Egyptians now. You know what I do to your butt. You know what I'm saying? You ain't nothing compared to them Egyptians. You saw what I did to them.
Don't think I won't.
Yeah, I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? Let's see.
And how I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself.
I carried your butt right all the way right here. Let's see.
Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
He said, you're going to be a peculiar treasure to me above all people, right? So when we talk about like racism and all that, right? If you look at it, people always are shocked when I say, well, no, I don't really think racism, the technical definition of racism is a bad thing necessarily. I think what happens is people are unjust, right? And they use racism to be unjust, right? That's the problem. But looking at a race differently, right? Or seeing yourself differently by your culture or your lineage is not, or even seeing yourself above others is not in itself wrong, as long as you're fair in your judgment. You know what I'm saying? Now, the people of this country, the white folks in this country and in the countries around the world, you know what I'm saying, these Gentiles, they've broken that trust. I don't think there's a way, you know what I'm saying, outside the Most High God's judgment for us to be able to have that trust that they will behave appropriately. So, of course, when you have a white supremacist group where technically it shouldn't be a problem to have a white supremacist group if they dealt justly. If they say, you know what, this is my people, of course, I'm going to take care of my people first. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do that. But I ain't going to negatively impact anybody else intentionally. I ain't going to try to hold no one group or two groups down to elevate my people. It's just going to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give a little bit of preferential treatment to my people. You know what I'm saying? Now, you get your fair shot, but if I got 3 spots open, I'm going to get one to my man for sure, and then the other 2 go to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it go. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's normal, that's natural, that should be okay. It's not okay now because you guys have abused it. Y'all didn't just, you know what I'm saying, have preferential treatment to white people. You guys abused black people for years. You know what I'm saying? Absolute abuse. And then built it off of our backs. And then locked us out. Even when you already got your head start, locked us out from even participating. And now you start, okay, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can participate, this, that, and other, and you try to make it seem like it's even. And you still do it on the slide. Right? We still can't get approved for loans. We still can't get no acknowledgement. So the problem, it's like credit, right? It's like credit. The problem with credit is you got situations on your credit, maybe from your past, that goes against your record, right? And it says, okay, well, I can't lend to you because X, Y, and Z. You didn't pay back this, or you took so long to pay back this. You was late, you was on time, but then late again, and on time, then late again. Okay, you've never paid that back. That went to charge off, whatever. So then you look at that, and he's like, there's no way I can lend money to you because I can't trust that you will pay me back. Now, if I can look at my credit report and I say, no, none of that is right. None of that is right. None of that is because of me. I didn't do any of that, right? But I'm being held back from getting a loan because of some stuff that had nothing to do with me, some stuff that wasn't my fault, right? That's unfair for me. That's why there's laws in place to protect people in those situations. Well, there's stuff on our credit as black folks, you know what I'm saying, as Hebrews, there's stuff on our credit that we can't get removed, and it had nothing to do with us, right? We were slaves. You know what I'm saying? We was blackballed. You know what I'm saying? They had black codes to keep us from excelling and to keep us down. But yeah, that caused us to have a bad credit score. So you get years and years and years and years and years removed, you know what I'm saying? And now we can't get loans. And they justify it. And they say, nah, these people historically bad with credit. Historically, we're not bad with credit. Historically, y'all trip us up and y'all have predatory people come after us knowing that the situations that we in and knowing that y'all not going to let us excel. You know what I'm saying? That y'all going to disrupt us every time we do try to excel, right? And there's numerous examples of this throughout history. And that's what makes racism a problem. But if you look at what the Most High God's saying, he's saying, I will hold you above every other people, right? So he's saying, you're going to be a peculiar people to me. Israelites is what he's talking about. People who descend from the lineage of Israel. You're going to be a peculiar people to me, right? And on top of that, I'm going to look at you above every other people. Let's see what the book say.
And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Wait. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if you obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
And watch this.
For all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.
So he said, you're going to be unto me a kingdom, right? So royalty of priest and what?
And a holy nation.
And a holy nation. So a nation that's set apart. I'm going to look at you as a people that's peculiar. I'm going to separate you from the rest of the people in the world. And you're going to be a kingdom, a royalty of priest. Right? He's saying that not just about an individual group. We going to later learn who the priest will be for our individual group. But remember, his original statement is that not there will be some priest amongst you. He's saying you, all of you, will be priests. Right? It's important to understand how the Most High God kicked this off, because then you know what he's talking about in the end. Right? When it gets to the prophecy, when we get to Revelations, we get to all this, that's when this part is kicked off.
I said you are gods, but you shall die like me.
You're going to die just like men.
And all of you are the children of the Most High.
Right? it's going to come a time where every last one of us, in relation to the rest of the people in the world, what they call the 1,000-year reign, we're going to be servicing human beings, regular human beings, and we won't be human beings no more. We're going to be more like, you know what I'm saying, the Messiah when he rolls. And we will serve the people as priests. Every one of us, right? And so then we have to kind of take that in perspective, but that's not happening right away. The Most High God is throwing this out there, but these are the types of things that people who know the law, they miss. They don't know nothing about this law, right? That's why we want to take our time. We want to read through it, make sure we understand all the tenets of the law. Let's keep going.
These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do.
Right? So the people didn't acknowledge. They said, everything that you say, we gonna do it. Right? Who's saying it to him?
Moses.
Moses is saying these things to him. Only thing they see is Moses and Aaron. Right? And they're taking Moses' word when he say, yo, I'm going and I'm talking to Yahuwah and he told me to tell y'all that. It's important to keep that in mind because they're not talking directly to Yahuwah. They're only talking to Moses. They haven't heard from Yahuwah. Right? So they're telling Moses, everything you said, go ahead and let them know we going to do it. Okay, cool. That's a binding contract at that point. Let's hear about it again.
And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahuwah.
Okay, so he took that. Remember, Moses is the middleman. That's what they say? They said they're going to do it. Okay, let me go talk to Yahuwah. Hey, Yahuwah, they said they'd do it. Right? So he returned the words of the people to Yahuwah. What else?
Excuse me. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, lo, I come to thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. And be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
Right? So he said, look, get all the people clean. And on the third day, I'm going to come down in the sight of all the people so they can see for themselves. Right? And I'm going to come down on Mount Sinai. And what else?
And you shall set bounds unto the people round about.
Right? Set bounds. In other words, you're going to set up little barriers so people can't cross the barriers. And you're going to set it around about the mountain. Because the people ain't supposed to go out and touch it. Let's hear it. Watch what he said.
And saying, take heed to yourselves that you go not up into the mountain, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mountain shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned.
Or what?
Or shot through.
He said, you either stone him or shoot his butt. Keep going. Watch this.
Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live.
That's right.
When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come up to the mountain. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mountain.
Right? So get the scene. Everybody prepared. We about to wait 3 days. In 3 days, we about to go to the mountain. We already set up bounds. Don't your butt touch the bounds. Don't try to do nothing, because if you touch it, we're going to stone you or we're going to shoot you, right? We're going to shoot you through, right? So everybody ready on the third day. It's about to go down. He going to talk. The man I've been talking, you have to like appreciate what's happening. This whole time, people are seeing things happen that they've never seen before, right? Moses is a guy just like them. They've never seen none of this stuff happening. And Moses is telling them, nah, man, it's a guy named Yahuwah that's doing all this. They never seen Yahuwah. They had no communication with Yahuwah, right? Then all of a sudden, Moses, the man who they see, is like, I feel like you doing it because I don't really see Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the man that they see is telling them, look, the man I get my information from and get my power from, oh, he about to come talk to y'all in 3 days. So you got to imagine this is like a concert, right? That's why he's telling them, like, you go to a concert and they put the barrier in front of the stage. And then what people do, they press up against it and all that stuff trying to get on stage. So that's like the idea of what this is. He's like, do not touch it, because he know how people going to get. He the man. He know he is. So he's like, man, when I come down here, these people, they gonna going and climbing on top and all. Let's just stop it, right? Put the bound there. If you touch it, I'll stone you, shoot you through, right? So then third day, people got to be excited, right? It's like, man, we really about to hear from him? Like Moses be hearing from him? The dude that opened up the, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? The one that made the manna come from the, you know what I mean? Like all of this is him? Oh, come on, let's go. So you got to think everybody's excited, everybody ready to go. You get in there and you ready. Then all of a sudden, thunder, lightning, earthquakes, right? It goes from like exciting to what?
Terrifying.
Now it's scary. Because it's not just like I'm in an earthquake and I'm at my house, right? Which is already scary. You know what I'm saying? This is thunder, lightning, and earthquake, and I'm at a mountain. What can happen in that situation you at a mountain?
Rock slide, all kind of stuff.
You might have lava pop out of that thing. Burn everybody up. We don't know. Like, we don't know. Did this just become a volcano for our eye? Like, we don't really know. So they looking at it, and all of a sudden the thunder, the lightning, you know what I'm saying? The earthquakes, all that stuff start to happen. They standing, they looking up, and let's see what happens.
And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because YAHUWAH descended upon it in fire. And the smoke.
So now they see fire, right? And smoke going up, right? Watch this.
And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly.
Right? So everything's shaking. Right? So for them, they look like this is a volcano. And you're telling us to stand at the bottom of this volcano and don't touch it. The reason why you telling us not to touch it, because it's about to be lava coming down this thing, and we're all about to die. Right? I mean, these are logical thoughts that would be happening. You getting close to the thing, it's like, oh, okay, whoa, what in the world is happening around here? It's shaking, and there's fire coming from the top, and the smoke is just shooting up. Like, what in the world is happening right now? Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And YAHUWAH came down upon the mount on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them.
Right? So then he called Moses up, right? So everybody witnessing this stuff, Moses down there with the people, and all of a sudden you hear a voice, Moses, come on up here. Right? Remember, they heard his voice, and it was loud, like a super loud trumpet. So it was like way too loud for them. They like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine like you hearing something and you got to like close your ears up like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? That's how loud his voice was. So Moses ended up going up. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine what that looked like. Moses is going up to the very thing that looks like it's about to kill you. It's fire, smoke, earthquake. And he walked right through the mountain just going up there. So he looking like, well, let's see how this thing gonna play out, right? So then, the Most High God tell Moses, he's like, go on back down there. This time he talking to Moses. He ain't talking to everybody. He talking to Moses. He like, go on down there, you know what I'm saying, tell the people, you know what I'm saying, don't come through. Now remember, this is go time. Moses already told them that 3 days ago. Don't you touch it. Don't go. I'll shoot you through. You know how it go. I told him that 3 days ago. It's go time now. Moses is excited because he wants the people to hear from the man he be talking to. The people are excited because it's like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. We get to hear like from him himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's some exclusive guy that don't nobody know. All we know is Moses. Right? So let's see how Moses responded to that.
And the priests also, which come near the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you charged us, saying, set bounds about the mountain, sanctify it.
Right? In other words, he's saying, I already told them that. Right? He's saying, oh, they ain't going to come up because you already told me to tell them, you know what I'm saying, they couldn't come up. Right? Watch what Most High God say.
And the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, and Aaron with you. But let not the priests and the people break through or come up to the Lord, lest he break forth upon them.
All right? So Most High God said, get your butt down there and do what I told you to do. Right? Watch it. Keep going.
So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. Mm-hmm. And God spake all these words, saying,
Watch this.
I am Yahuwah your God.
So now when Moses went back down and told them, all right, y'all, remind them, don't try to break through. Right? After that, Most High God started talking to everybody, giving them the commandments. So let's go through the commandments. This is where the concept of the 10 commandments come from. Right? Watch this.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
All right, so he's telling them you cannot make any image. Remember, this is very different. There are already gods around. And a lot of the gods around, they're worshipped by way of an image. You make an idol, and that's how you worship them. That's the proper way of worshiping them. He's coming back, and he's saying, don't do that. You can worship me, but don't make any image. Right? So that's very different. That's his second commandment that he said. Keep going. Watch this.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah, your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation to them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah your God in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work.
What does it mean to take his name in vain?
And bring it to nothing.
Yeah, it means that you make it worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's when people just be like, you know what I'm saying, on God, on God. Imagine replacing on God with on Yahuwah. Like on Yahuwah, I'm gonna do that, right? And you putting his name out there like that's you know how I'm really gonna do it? Because I put it on Yahuwah. Right? So it's like the value of his name is proof that I'm really gonna do what I say. And then you don't do it. What does that do to the value of his name?
Bring it to nothing.
Makes it nothing. Right? So that's what it means when they say don't take his name in vain. It ain't saying on God, right? On God is not taking his name in vain because God ain't his darn name, right? His name in vain is Yahuwah, right? So when people would say, I swear by Yahuwah, you know what I'm saying? Then you don't fulfill your promise, you've taken his name in vain. If you swear by Yahuwah and you do fulfill the promise, you're not taking his name in vain in that sense, right? Now, later on, YAHUAH gives us a little bit more instruction. He said, don't swear at all. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Let your yes be your yes. He said, just do it. But then later on, according to our law, you can swear and say, you know what? On Yahuwah, I'm going to do this. And if you fulfill it, then you ain't no sin.
The Lord do so to me and more also.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yahuwah do so to me and more also. You know what I'm saying? If I don't, you know what I'm saying? If I don't fulfill your promise, Yahuwah do so to me and more also. Right? In other words, he gonna punish me. I'm saying I'm putting it on Yahuwah, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah, that's another way of saying like, let God strike me down. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah, strike me down right now if I don't do it. If I'm lying, let him strike me down right now. Cool. If you telling the truth, it ain't no problem. You're not, you've taken his name in vain. Right? Keep going. Don't let no Christian make, you know what I'm saying, confuse you about this stuff.
For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain.
They telling, you know what I'm saying, people saying, now I don't like when people do it, but people saying, Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying, usually like that, they be like, so you taking his name in vain. Name ain't no darn Jesus Christ. You know what I'm talking about? You taking somebody's name in vain. I don't know who that is. Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? Keep going.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah your God. In it you shall not do any work, you nor your son, your daughter, your men servant, your maid servant, your cattle, the stranger within your gates.
That got that, right? When we are in our land, right? What he's telling us is, like right now, like we don't keep the Sabbath, right? We keep the Sabbath, right? So we keep the Sabbath. We don't go to work. We don't do, you know what I'm saying? We don't do no labor on the Sabbath. But if we wanted some fast food real quick, we can just go to McDonald's. I ain't got to lift a darn finger. I can just go to McDonald's and there's somebody working and it's the Sabbath and they can give me some food, right? What he's giving us is he's saying in our land, That's nothing. No, even your servant, right? At McDonald's, well, they gonna call themselves a customer service. You know what I'm saying? Customer service. So that's a servant, right? He said, no, even your servant, they can't do it on the Sabbath, right? So in our land, that wouldn't be lawful, even if they weren't keeping our law, or well, I shouldn't even say it that way, even if they weren't of our people, right? Even if they were strangers to our people, if you in our land, you got to keep our law. That means nobody in the land can work on the Sabbath, right? So it would be very different. We in the land of captivity now, so you got a whole bunch of people working on the Sabbath because that's not the law here, right? They do what they want to darn do, right? Keep going.
For in 6 days, Yahuwah made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy God gives thee.
And notice, hold on, going back to the Sabbath, notice that he ties it back to Genesis, right? So that's why it was important that Moses gave us Genesis first, because he ties it back to Genesis and he lets us know that this is based off of the 7 days, the 6 days that he created and the seventh day that he rested. So now our reckoning of the Sabbath has to be based off of that. You got some people that they call it a lunar Sabbath. And so they look at the lunar cycle, you know, the moon change shapes and all that. So they look at that cycle, and then whenever they consider it a new moon, they say, okay, at that new moon, that begins a new week. You know what I'm saying? So every new moon, you have to end wherever you were in the previous week, and you start a new week right there. And then by starting a new week right there, you have to start counting towards your Sabbath. Yeah, and what that means is your weekly Sabbath is not going to always land on Saturday or whatever, like how we look at it now. The problem with that is that's not how creation was set up, right? The moon didn't come about until day 4. So that means that when Yah created, he didn't need the moon. When he was counting his days, he didn't need the moon. Only thing he needed was light, right? And he established that light in the dark and called it night and day. And then he put the moon, the light in the day, the day and the night was already established. And then he took what was already called night and he put the moon there. And he put the stars there. So the moon and the stars don't make the night. The night rather makes them, if that makes sense, right? So you have to, when you look at it, because you look at the commandment of the Sabbath, if there wasn't that commandment, he just said, hey, keep the Sabbath, the seventh day. Somebody could make a case and be like, well, I see this is my 7th day, and I see that as your 7th day. And we all got different 7 days, just like they try to use Romans. You know what I'm saying? They try to use Romans and say, you know what I'm saying, one man esteems this day, another man esteems that day, and let each of them, you know what I'm saying, esteem it alike. You know what I'm saying? You try to use that and be like, hey, we can all just create our own days. But that's not what Paul was saying. He was saying all this junk that y'all celebrate ain't got nothing to do with what the book say, right? He's saying y'all celebrate whatever you want. Just do what the book say, right? Keep going. Watch this.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor.
Nor anything that is your neighbor's.
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings. And
right, so look at it. All this, remember, this voice is coming out, and it's too hard, it's too loud to even hear. Right? It's just so loud. And then you still got thundering, and you still got lightning. And you still got the earthquake on the mountain. So all this stuff is happening at once, and then you got this loud voice coming at you. It just feels like everything is happening at once. Something's about to blow up, and we're all going to die. Like, that's the feeling, right? So he get to that last one where he says, don't covet anything of your neighbor, right? That's the 10th commandment. Dude, thou shalt not covet. He said, don't covet anything of your neighbor. He get done saying that, and look how the people are reacting at this point.
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak with us, and we will hear.
Right? So now at this point, they backing up, right? They removed themselves far off. They running away from it. It's smoke going up, fire at the top. It's thunder, it's lightning. The whole thing shaking. Moses, you know what I'm saying, he was up there and he came down with us. Then all of a sudden this voice started coming, right? So then we backing up like, man, this thing, it ain't no way this is safe. This whole thing about to blow up. So then the people looked at Moses, because remember, Moses came back down with us. So Moses down here with us, and we looked at him, and what we say?
Speak with us, Moses, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
Right? And look, if this man keep talking to us, we're all going to die. That's the feeling that we had. We are all going to die if this man keep talking to us. Look, Moses, I like the way it's been going. Because remember, up to this point, if God had something to say, how did the people hear it?
Through Moses.
Only through Moses. They didn't hear nobody speaking, with no mountains on fire. It was none of this foolishness. Moses, you tell me. So it's now, it's this feeling. The people like, man, I want to hear from him directly. I want to hear, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. It was exciting. And all of a sudden it started happening. It's like, nah, we good. I tell you what, let's just take it back to the regular thing. You tell us, you know what I'm saying? And whatever you tell us, we going to take it from him. Right? Read that part one more time for me.
And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God has come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, thus you shall say unto the children of Israel.
Right? So this is what happened. The people backed up, right? They stood afar off. Moses, we spoke to Moses. We said, look, Moses, you go up there and talk to him, because if he keep talking to us, we going to die. Moses was like, nah, man, he just trying to test y'all to make sure that y'all going to do what the man say, right? Then Moses go back up in the mountain. Remember, he got the authority to walk into it. So he crossed the bounds, and he started going to the smoke, right? When he goes to the smoke, the Most High God starts speaking to him directly and not to all the people again. So then he says to Moses, what?
And the Lord said unto Moses, thus you shall say unto the children of Israel.
He said, okay, this is what you going. They interrupted me. You know what I'm saying? Like the Most High God, we is on the roll. Like, yeah, this commandment and that commandment. Don't do this and don't do this. And 7 days we built this. And then don't do that and do that. You better listen to your mama and daddy and this, that, and other. And don't cover anything of your. And everybody just start banging. Oh, yo, Moses, look, just tell him this, that, and other. So, you know what I'm saying? Then he go up and he go talk to him. And he's like, okay, this is where I left off. Now I'm telling just to Moses. He's like, this is where I left off. This is what you going to tell him. So let's see, he's going to pick it back up.
You have seen.
Had the 10 commandments continued, this is what would have gone. We would have gotten the whole law directly from the Most High God had the people not stopped them, right? The people stopped them, and the Most High God said this was a good thing if we read Deuteronomy. He said it was good that you have well spoken is what he said, right? It was appropriate for the people to stop them. However, had they not stopped them, they probably would have died, right? But they would have gotten the whole law from the Most High God directly. They stopped them at 10. Most High God gave the rest to Moses directly, and then Moses had to bring it down to us. So at this point, Moses disappeared into the smoke, and he's getting all of these commandments. We're about to go over a whole list of commandments, and this is all the stuff that's being told directly to Moses. The people are sitting outside this whole time, just waiting for him to come down, right? They don't hear nothing. Maybe it's still some smoke and stuff, who knows? But they don't hear nothing, and we just waiting for stuff to come down, for him to come down. So let's hear the commandments we're about to go through. What verse is this? 20 verse.
21.
We already at 21?
Well, 22 now.
Oh, verse 22. Yeah, so this is chapter 20, verse 22.
And the Lord said unto Moses, thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make with me gods of silver.
He said, look, you've seen that I have talked with you from, what did it say?
Heaven.
From heaven. Is that talking about where the Most High God's throne is?
No, from the sky.
He said, I've talked with you from the sky, because he came at a high mountain and he spoke with him from the top of the mountain. So he's saying, okay, I prove. Remember, this portion of it, what we about to read, is given to Moses. So he's telling Moses to say, yo, remind them that I talked to them, that they heard my voice directly, right? You've seen that I spoke with you, because now that serves as proof of I'm valid. Don't play with me. I'm that guy. I'm still trying to tell you I'm that guy, right? See, it's like, man, you've seen that I spoke with you, right? Eli, you good, man? Yeah. Where you at? Downstairs. Okay, well, go all the way downstairs.
Drink some water.
Drink some water, boy. I probably got to use another asthma treatment.
Go in the living room. Goodness gracious. Or the bathroom or something. Goodness gracious.
Boy, about to start. Pass it out.
I don't know. Don't you pass that stuff around here. I know that. I'm about to call your mama. Give her a piece of my darn mind. Go grab keep going. Let's see what we got.
You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth shall you make unto me, and you shall sacrifice thereon your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In the places where I record my name, I will come unto you, and I will bless you. And if you will make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone. For if you lift up your tool upon it, you have polluted it. Neither shall you go up by steps unto my altar, that your nakedness be not discovered thereon.
Right? So these are the first of the commandments that he's given us. He's telling us, listen, when you make an altar, just use regular stone. Just go pick up a rock. When we're talking about an altar, it's talking so you can burn your sacrifice. Right? So he's saying if you're trying to burn a sacrifice, you build your little fire, and you put some rocks on top of it, and you put the sacrifice on top of the rocks. Right? Let the rocks heat up, and you put the sacrifice on top of the rock. Don't you try to build no, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to chisel out, make it look all nice. It's a reason why he's saying that, because he's about to give Moses the instructions on the altar that he builds. And he don't need a whole bunch. He don't need nobody coming around like, that's a nice altar, but I could do better than that. He don't need that. I'm not trying to design the best altar to you. There's one altar that's designed after what's in the sky. That's what's in heaven. Right? In God's kingdom that's in heaven. There's one altar that's already built that way. He said, I'm trying to design it after that manner. Right? You'll see. Come on, let's keep going.
Now these are the judgments which you shall set before
These are the what?
judgments.
So this chapter 20, 21?
21.
This chapter 21. We get into judgments. What are judgments before we start reading them?
Like consequences for decisions.
There's consequences, right? So you got different types of commandments. Go back, grab Genesis chapter 26. I think I want verse 6. Genesis chapter 26, verse 6.
And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, she is my sister. For he feared to say, she is my wife, lest, said he, the men of this place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time...
That's 26?
Yeah.
All right, try to give me verse 5 then. What verse 5 say?
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Right? So my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Right? So you see that there's different types of laws, different types of instructions. I thought it said judgments there, and it don't have judgments there. But a judgment is a different type of law. So specifically, we can go back now. Specifically, when we're talking about a judgment, it's telling you, it's giving you how a judge should make a decision on this case, right? So usually what happens is somebody commits a crime, right? You commit a crime. After you commit a crime, if it's serious enough, you're detained, right? And then you're taken to see a judge. Then the judge hears the facts of the case, and after hearing the facts of the case, the judge says, okay, this is the punishment. So that's what a judgment is. A judgment is going to tell you a crime and a punishment that fits that crime. So that's what we're about to read through right now through, I think, all of chapter 21 is going to be a list of judgments. And I think chapter 22 gets into just commandments. But let's double check that. This is Exodus chapter 21, verse 1.
Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve.
Right? If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve for 6 years. And then what?
And in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing.
Where does this come from?
Laban and Jacob.
This comes from Laban and Jacob. Right? Remember, Jacob served Laban for 20 years. For further proof, let's keep reading. Watch this.
And in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself.
If he came in by himself, how he go out?
By himself.
Why would this law be in place?
Because Jacob took all Laban's stuff.
Jacob took everything from Laban, didn't he? Jacob left and he took everything from Laban, including what? Why keep reading? Watch this.
If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him.
If he came there married, he get to leave with his wife. But
if his master has given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself.
But if I give you these daughters, they mine, and I get to keep them. Your butt can go. Right? Because that was the dispute between Laban and Jacob. We look at it like, oh, Jacob was justified in this. But if you remember Laban said, he was like,
you taking my kids.
These are my kids, and these are my daughters. And you wake up in the middle of the night and steal away and don't even say bye? Don't even let me kiss my darn kids? And you take all my darn cattle? What are you lucky God told me I can't do nothing to you? Remember he told him that? He's like, God told me I can't do nothing to you, so I'm going to leave you alone. But the Most High, this is showing you that the Most High was like, no, you got to valid dispute, though. I'm going to look after my man. This is my man. I'm going to look after him. But he got a valid dispute. I'm going to correct that in the future. Right? That's what you're going to see as we go through these laws. It's going to be a lot of situations that we ran into in our history so far that you can see the Most High God looking like that wasn't right. I mean, I let it ride, but that wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't supposed to handle it that way. So now he's saying if you make a man a servant, you got to make a choice. Right? You make a choice. If you my servant and I give you a wife, you know what I'm saying? Cool. I have ownership of that. But watch what he say after that.
And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever.
Right? He said, but you can give an option to that servant. And he say, look, if I love my wife, the wife that you gave me, and I love my master, right? And I love my kid, I don't want to just walk away. I'm going to stick around. But now you got to commit. You got to choose to stick committing to you going to be here forever. Right? Forever you're going to have to be here. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And if men sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. Mm-hmm. If she please not her master, who has betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he has dealt deceitfully with her.
In other words, he's saying, if I have a daughter, and then I say I sell my daughter off, just like I might sell my son off, right? So I have kids. If I sell my son off and I say, hey, my son, you know what I'm saying, he can come over there, he'll work for you. No. He'll clean up your workbench, he'll do all that for you. Don't even worry about it. The only thing you got to do is, you know what I'm saying, pay him so much, right? Pay him this much, pay him that much, or whatever. You hit him off like that, okay, cool. That's a good deal, right? But you have full authority over that kid for X period of time, right? If I do the same thing with my daughter, and in doing that, the person who my daughter is serving decides to like engage with her, like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I want to marry you. You know what I'm saying? If he decides to do that, and at some point he's like, never mind, I don't want to marry you no more. He can't do that. He can't just say, I don't want to marry you no more and just like, you know what I'm saying, and do away with her and sell her to somebody else. No. He has to allow her to be redeemed by her father or by her household. You know what I'm saying? Because she's a woman, she requires a different level of protection, right? Or you'll see our whole law requires a different level of protection around women, right? So because she's a woman, you got to have a different level of protection around her. You can't just, a male servant, you can take him and be like,
you're fired.
Yeah, I don't really want to mess with you no more. I'm going to sell you over here to this guy, and he going to give me money for you, and you can work under him. Now, understand the idea of servant. Don't think of it as slavery. It's hard now when we say servant, we think of slavery. So you think of somebody getting whipped on their back, getting mistreated. That wouldn't. Think of it more of like
a company.
An apprenticeship, but it's like a full-time, I live there apprenticeship. It's like I'm learning, like you do cake pops, right? So it's like I might say I'm gonna buy a servant to help me do cake pops, but he also lives with you, or she also lives with you. So it's like, okay, y'all wake up, this, that, and other. Yeah, you might sweep up the house. We gotta get ready. Okay, now let's do some cake pop. The reason why they there is they're learning how to be a cake pop maker just like you. After 7 years, what do they go do? Well, I start my own cake pop thing, right? I'm gonna do my own cake pop thing, and then maybe I hire a servant to help me out, teach them the game. After they 7 years, they serve me, then they go out and they start their own cake pop thing. And that's how it was. We would build skills, just like building a trade, because I'm working under somebody. But it wouldn't be necessarily one individual thing. It'd be many things. Whatever that person does, I'm with them 24/7. I got a house with them. They taking care of me. They feeding me food. They doing all this stuff because, you know what I'm saying, I become a member of their household, essentially, is what it is. So with a male servant, I might say, you really don't work the way I like, you know what I'm saying? You really better at something else. I'll tell you what, I'm going to sell you to this guy. So this guy will pay me money. Give him the servant. He got a servant, so it's another member of his household. Again, not no super evil, mistreating, I'm whipping you on your back. It's like I got another member, it's like a brother or sister or somebody that's in my house, and they helping me around my house or helping me in my field or helping me with whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
7 years he go off and buy his own
7 years he do whatever he want to do after that. Yeah. And he going to have money when he go out. He going to have all the stuff because it's not like he's not making any money while he's there. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you're under a what's the word I'm looking for?
A retirement plan.
It's almost a debt, right? It's like for this amount of time, I have to look after, You're under a contract. You know what I'm saying? So for this amount of time, I gotta help out. I gotta do this. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta serve you. You know what I'm saying? So a male servant, I can keep selling. I can even sell to I can sell to some Gentiles. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? No, I got this Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? Just let him go, right? This female, he said, no, you can't do that. The female, you can't do that. Especially if you offered to marry her. You know what I'm saying? Like you was telling her like you were gonna marry her, and all of a sudden you change your mind on that thing because she displeased you. Okay, that's cool, but you gotta give a chance. You gotta let her family buy her back. You gotta give them a chance to buy her back. You can't just go and go, you know, say, oh, I can get a lot of money from her. Nah. Let them buy it back for whatever you sold it for. You know what I'm saying? Keep going. Watch this.
And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, that becomes your daughter even if your son decides not to marry her. Mm-hmm. Right? So if your son was like, never mind. You know what I'm saying? You still got to keep her in your household, and she stops being a servant. She has to be treated like a daughter for you, which means you got to protect her until she gets married or until she dies. Right? Keep going.
If he take him...
These people, listen. These people can say whatever they want. Our law is perfect. You set up our stuff right now, it'll solve a whole lot of problems around here. I don't care what y'all talking about. Keep going.
If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
Yep.
If he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money.
All right, so that means you lose all your investment on her. You could have sold her, but if you don't uphold your end of the deal, she go free. She can do whatever she want to do. With all the skills that she learned, with everything, because that's the thing. These people who are servants, they get skills from, you know what I'm saying, whatever skill set you have, they're picking up these skill sets. These are usually children that don't have any skill set. You know what I'm saying? So they picking up skill set and learning how to build stuff or how to work in the field, or you know what I'm saying? They learning your expertise. It doesn't make sense to teach them the expertise and they just go free. You don't get nothing back from it. Right? So the whole reason you buy them is so that you get a return on your investment. Okay, we're going to work this out for 6 years. You can go free in the 7th year. Right? But for 6 years, I'm going to teach you the first year. You know what you're doing. You're going to become good at it by the time the 6th year. But while you're getting good at it, I'm getting my payment back. Right? Because you selling stuff for me or you working in my field for me, like I'm getting my money's worth back. What's going to happen is if you don't fulfill this woman's deal, you say, hey, you know what I'm saying, my son is going, you know what I'm saying, going to marry you. Then my son changed his mind, go get him another wife. Book saying, okay, that's cool. But while she's with you, you got to treat her like a daughter. you got to make sure that she got, food, raiment, and the wifely duties. You got to take care of all of those. Whatever she would be, however she would be treated as a wife, you got to make sure that she got that. And if you don't do it, you lose your investment. She gets to go away free. Right? If you're looking like, nah, man, that's going to be too much. I don't want to do that. That's cool. But now she's no longer yours and you can't sell her. You can't get no money back. You lose the years or whatever years was left. You lose that. Let her go free, but let her go. Keep going.
Yeah, I think it's only 7 years, too. Here you got to work like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, no, these people, you know what I'm saying? These people, you know what I'm saying? You go to school for 4 years, you know what I'm saying? They got you paying back on that school for the rest of your darn life. School loans, you paying back school loan for the rest of your darn life. 30 years of your life, you paying back school loans.
Crazy.
That's nuts. I don't want to hear nothing about our law. You know what I'm saying? Like, our stuff just, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all talk about some crazy stuff over here. Keep going.
If he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money.
Uh-huh.
He that smites a man so that he die shall surely be put to death.
Right? You hit somebody and you end up dying, and you hit them so that they die, so that means you're hitting them for the reason that they die, you surely will be put to death. That's a judgment. Everything that we're looking at is judgment. If this happens, this is the punishment. If that happens, this is the punishment. If this happens, this is how you deal with it, right? That's why he's telling you, if you get a Hebrew servant and this happened, you should let them go like that. You can't sell them this way. He's letting you know, these are the situations, and this is how you deal with the situation. So this is why these are judgment. So he said, hey, you smite somebody in the way that they die, guess what? You're going to surely be put to death. What's next?
He that smites a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place where he shall flee.
That's another way of saying it was an accident, right? Mm-hmm. So he said, when he said a man lay not in wait, in other words, I wasn't sitting here waiting for this. I wasn't trying to you know what I'm saying? I wasn't scheming, trying to make this happen. It just something happened. God delivered him into my hand. In other words, I didn't have control over the situation. It didn't happen the way I necessarily wanted it to happen. He said, if that happens, what's going to happen?
Then I will appoint thee a place where you shall flee.
Right? He said, I'm going to give you a place that you'll go. Right? Watch this.
But if a man...
We'll talk more about that too, because that ends up being a little bit like jail. Right? So what we would look at that nowadays is a manslaughter charge. Right? And right now for manslaughter, you'll go to jail. Right? For us, it's a little bit like jail, but not quite. Right? It's way better than jail. But you still would be confined to a certain city.
Witness protection.
Yeah, it's more like witness protection. You know what I'm saying? More like witness protection. Keep going.
But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from my altar that he may die.
Mm-hmm.
And he that...
That's law, right? Law is if you kill a man, right, and you do it dishonestly, that even if you're at the altar, right, making a sacrifice or a praise to the Most High God, that the law would say that you should be taken from the altar in the middle of your darn sacrifice, should nothing get in the way, and you should be pulled out, and you should be slain, right, and killed. Keep going.
And he that smites his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
And he that steals a man and sells him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
That's right. So that got everything that we talking about in this country. Anybody who steals a human being and sells them, or steal a human being and you get caught with them in your hand, you shall surely be put to death. Right? That got that. I don't want to hear nobody talk about, oh, the Bible supports slavery. Shut that. You shut your darn mouth. These white folks ain't getting no slavery from no darn Bible. If they did, they hypocrites.
Yeah, there's plenty of accounts they should have been done.
Keep going.
And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Uh-huh.
If men strive together...
Listen, you curse your father or your mother. LeBron James one day, you know what I'm saying, they got a little clip where mom was like, you know what I'm saying, I think she is in a crowd and she got mad at one of the players or something and jumped up and started talking mess. You know what I'm saying? He told, you know what I'm saying, he looked at his mom, sit down, you know what I'm saying, and cussed at her. Stoned his butt. You know what I'm saying? Had I been there, I'd have yack it right across his darn head. Yack it. I threw that thing too. I'd be like, man, that was the law say. Can't stand no darn LeBron. Keep going.
And if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keeps his bed, If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed.
Right? So the punishment then for fighting, right, essentially is what it's talking about. It said fighting, but I used a weapon in the fight, right? The punishment is I have to pay for your loss of time. So you miss a couple days from work, you know what I'm saying? That's on me. I got to pay that, all right? That's the punishment. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it takes to heal you, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your
Doctor bill.
Your medical bills, you know what I'm saying? All that. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a couple Excedrin. You know what I'm saying? I got you. You don't worry about it. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, good. But whatever the doctor bill was, I got to pay for that. If you get up and walk around, right? In other words, if you get up and you like, all right, I feel better now, and you walk around a couple days, that's cool, right? Keep going.
And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished.
You're going to be punished, boy, put to death, right? You shall surely be punished.
Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
Mm-hmm.
If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall surely be punished, according to the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine.
So in other words, if a man, if it's saying if men strive, so there's two men fighting, right? Bam, 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 we scrapping. It's important that these laws here let you know that we fought. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to scrap. So we fighting, right? You know what I'm saying? We putting there. And so we putting our hands on each other, we doing whatever. My pregnant wife is right here though. And so while we fighting, I bump it, you know what I'm saying? Somebody bump into my pregnant wife and hit her. And you know, they hit her in the stomach and injure her. The law say, no matter what, let's say nothing happened to the baby, because it say nothing follows, right? So nothing happened to the baby, everything healthy, right? No matter what, the judge has to hear from the husband of that woman. And according to what that husband say, that's what the punishment is going to be. If the husband say, you know what I'm saying, whatever, I mean, the judge is going, they going to moderate it, you know what I'm saying? You can't, now killing, you know what I'm saying? Judge, you know what I'm saying? But he got to go to the judge, and the judge got to hear what the husband say, and that's where the judgment is going to come from, based off of what the husband is saying, right? But watch this.
And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, and foot for foot.
In other words, if the baby dies, right? The book said you got to give what?
Life for life.
Well, that got abortion. Right? That got abortion. Because what they try to make the claim to abortion is like, oh, well, life is not until the baby is born. Well, no. The book saying if mischief follows a pregnant woman, in other words, if the baby is not born, then you got to give life for life. That means he already recognized it as life. Right? So you got to give life for life. What else?
Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe.
So if the baby come out with a messed up eye, messed up hand, messed up anything, and that happened, so you scrapping, you bump into my wife, she, you know what I'm saying, her stomach is hit, or whatever, and then the baby is born with some type of defect, whatever the defect is, it's gonna get pushed back onto the person who did it. Right? So that's the punishment. That's how you would deal with it. That's the judgment around this situation. Let's see, keep going.
Okay, hold on.
You good?
Yeah, man. Where was I? Oh. Okay. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. Mm-hmm. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake.
So you can see the relationship of a servant wasn't one of violence, right? It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, I'm whipping you on your back or anything. Because you look at the slave masters that we had over our people, they would injure, they would cut our legs off.
So we couldn't run.
You know what I'm saying? Like they would purposely injure us. They would put our eyes out. Under our law, if that happened, you had to let the servant go free. Because it wasn't supposed to be a violence. It was supposed to be a family. Basically, you including somebody else in your family temporarily so that they can learn from you. And they can build their own little thing going forward. It helps keep the people growing. You know what I'm saying? It makes it so that right now, everybody got to go get jobs. right? So everybody got to go get jobs, and they got to go work for corporations, and the corporations don't care about you, and the government got to make a whole bunch of laws to govern how the corporation's going to treat you and all this, that, and the other. In this situation, it wasn't a corporation. You would have wealthy people maybe, right? You have somebody who's wealthy, right, that would have resources or have land and have work that needs to be done. So they might go out and buy several servants. But now these servants, they work, they don't directly get paid from this situation. But guess what? They live and they eat there and they have all these things. So you kind of think of it like college. You go to college and you have a full scholarship. You don't maybe directly get paid, but you got your room and your board, you know what I'm saying, paid for, you know what I'm saying? So you got this little, you on the college campus and you got your food paid for throughout the year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, how it was. And then after that term is over, you go over and you have the information that you need to start your own thing and make your own living. All right, keep going.
And if he smite out his men, if an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. Mm-hmm. But if the ox...
So in other words, if I own a cow or I own a bull or an ox, and then that thing go and it go wild and it kills somebody, right? I'm not me personally, I'm not going to be held guilty for murder in that situation. But that ox got to be killed. I can't make no money off of it being killed, and we can't eat the ox. Right? Keep going.
But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in the time past, and it has been testified to his owner, and he had not kept him in, but that he had killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death.
Now, if there's a record of this ox, like, man, your ox, every time I walk past your gate, man, that ox be pushing up against the gate, you know what I'm saying, acting like it's trying to get me. You know what I'm saying? If you can bring 2 or 3 witnesses saying that they said that, you know what I'm saying, to this man, and he still let this ox get out, oh, that's on him. What's going to happen? What you got to do?
He shall be put to death.
He shall be put to death.
And the ox.
Right? Now you're guilty of murder because you let this thing happen, and you could have prevented it.
Your ox got a record of being violent and possibly hurt someone in the past, and you didn't take care of it. Yeah.
Keep going.
If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Mm-hmm. Whether he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. Mm-hmm. And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Mm-hmm. Or if it be known that the ox has used to push in time past, and his owner has not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It's Exodus chapter 22.
Yeah.
Let's see what the book say.
If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die,
so you see these are still judgments. Keep going.
There shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him.
In other words, what he's saying is if a thief come in and he get caught breaking in, you can kill him. And if you kill him, there'll be no bloodshed in response to that person being killed. In other words, that wouldn't be considered murder, right? So if you break into my house, and there's laws like that here in America, if you break into my house, then I have the right to kill you, right? However, our book says if this happens in the daytime, right? If the sun is out, then what happened?
If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him.
Mm-hmm. So that means that you can't do that if it's in the daytime. If it's at night, in other words, if you can't see who you're dealing with, that's one thing, right? But if it's in the daytime when people are supposedly available and all that, no, you can't kill him. You know what I'm saying? You let him take whatever he's going to take. You know what I'm saying? Get whatever information you got to get, and then you just bring that to the authorities. All right? Keep going.
for he should make full restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the thief be certainly found on his hand alive, whether it be ox, donkey, sheep, he shall restore double. If a man shall cause a field or a vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the beast of his own field, and of the beast of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution. Wait. Oh
yeah, he got to give up the best
of his own field, or the best of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution. If fire break out and catch it in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn of the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house,
watch this.
if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. For all manner of trespass, whether it be ox, donkey, for sheep, clothes, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges. And whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor.
That's right.
If a man deliver unto his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of YAHUWAH be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn.
What's that coming from?
What was that? Talking about what, Joseph with the?
It's Jacob again. Remember Jacob? He was telling Laban.
Oh yeah, he's like, man.
He was like, listen, man.
Everything I took care of.
He said when the what was it, lion or wolf?
Yeah, he's like, I made it. It was out of my own pocket.
He said it came and it tore up one of these sheep. He said I counted that a loss for me.
Right.
I didn't take that from you. I made sure I raised another. You know what I'm saying? Gave you one of my sheep. You know what I'm saying? To make up for the one I lost of yours. You know what I'm saying? Now there's law. The Most High God looking at that and like, nah, that ain't fair. Jacob shouldn't have to take that on. He's saying, no, if that happened, you bring it to the judges, let the judges look it over. But if the judges agree, you know what I'm saying, then no, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to pay that. You just give a vow like, hey, no, I didn't mean to do this. You know what I'm saying, it was an accident, and that got that. You know what I'm saying, you good. You shouldn't have to pay for that man's sheep for some accident, right? Keep going.
But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be a hired thing, it came for his hire. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Right? So this is our law against, a law against sex before marriage. Right? So it's basically saying if a man go and he's saying he ain't got no discussion with her about marriage, but you know what I'm saying, he enticed her to have sex with him. Right? And they end up having sex. He's saying that, okay, well now the punishment for that, the judgment for that is you have to marry her. Right? This is where some Hebrews get it from. It's like, well, when you have sex, you marry. No, that's not true. Just having sex don't make a person married. You know what I'm saying? It was our law as a way to deal with that if that's the choice that you made, now you have to marry her subsequently. Right? And then if her father utterly refuses, if he looking like, no, you know what I'm saying?
Not him.
Your butt is not. So where did this law come from?
What was that with Dinah?
Yeah, so this is with Dana.
Dana.
So you remember Dana, you know what I'm saying? She was enticed, you know what I'm saying, by Shechem. You know what I'm saying? And then when Shechem, you know what I'm saying, laid with her, the brothers and everybody was like, that's not happening. Because he slept with her first, and he came to her like, no, I want to marry her. You know what I'm saying? What the Most High God is saying here is, all right, that was right. That was the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And if the father utterly refused, watch this.
He shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. You shall not suffer a witch to live.
Okay.
Whosoever lies with a beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrifices unto any god, except unto Yahuwah only, he shall utterly be destroyed. You shall neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Right? So that goes against, again, what these people did to us. You know what I'm saying? You shall neither vex a stranger or oppress him, right? This is the mindset that the Hebrews have now, because they had this mindset of what's the word I'm looking for?
Like vindictive vengeance.
Yeah, vengeance. They got this vengeance that they want to take out against all the Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? So what happened is, if they ever had authority over Gentiles, a lot of them would end up vexing them. And that would be against our law. The book says you don't do that because we were in Egypt and we were vexed. We were in America and we were vexed. So it doesn't make sense to then turn around and do the same thing to other people, right? We don't oppress people. We don't vex people. We treat people fairly, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from. This is how it go. We treat people according to our book. Now, if you a Canaanite, we gonna kill your butt, right? Based off of who you are. But that's still according to our book. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't got nothing to do with this is just how I feel about somebody or how I feel about a certain race. This is what the Most High God laid out for me. And outside of what the Most High God laid out for me, I treat you with love and respect, you know what I'm saying? No matter where you come from, right? Keep going.
You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child.
Mm-hmm.
If you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry.
That's right.
And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless.
Mm-hmm.
If you lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shall you lay upon him usury.
In other words, you can't charge fees on top of what you're giving them. So it's like, if I get somebody a loan, right? Just like, you know what I'm saying, regular people loan, how we loan money towards each other. If he said, you know what I'm saying, let me owe $100 until the next time I get paid, right? Our law is saying I can't say, okay, so when we get paid, give me back the 100 that I gave you plus 20. Our law says I can't do that. Let that person pay you back whatever you gave them, right? If they give it back to you exactly how you gave it, anything that you charge on top of that, that's called usury or interest, right? That's what interest is. Interest is a calculation of usury. You know what I'm saying? Interest is saying, okay, well, for every dollar you give, I'm gonna get 10%. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, pay me 10%, stretched out over a year or whatever it might be. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just a calculation of how much usury they want to charge. You know what I'm saying? But essentially any fee, any extra amount that you put on top of that loan is usury, and we wasn't supposed to do that. Whatever I loaned you, you pay back what I loaned you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? We call it a day. Right? Because our God is just. We couldn't do that to Hebrews. Now, if we're dealing with these Gentiles, we could do that. Right? You dealing with a Gentile, it's like, okay, well, I can, you know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? You Gentile, you ain't of my nation. You put a little $20 on top of that. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you $100, you give me $120. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that with no Hebrew. Right? Keep going.
If you at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, you shall deliver it unto him by the sun goes down.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, you take something to pledge, that would be like saying, what's a good example? You know what I'm saying? Let me, I'm trying to think of a good example. So you know how you go to the bowling alley, you know what I'm saying? And you get shoes, and then they be like, okay, well, give me your ID. You know what I'm saying? So you give them your ID, and then you get the shoe, because they want their shoes back. You know what I'm saying? And they got your ID, you know what I'm saying, as for the shoes. That means what this is saying is, I can't go bring back the shoes, and they tell you, all right, I'll give you your ID tomorrow. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? You got the shoe, baby, you give me my ID now. You know what I'm saying? Because you can understand that some stuff of value, you might be trying to use it. You making a trade, right? So it's like, I might be saying, think of it like a pawn shop, right? What a pawn shop does is it takes your stuff, and it might try to sell some of your stuff at some point, right? And then in their mindset, they might sell your material, and they might be able to give it back to you if you come, but they'll give you a different version of it. Like, all right, well, we already sold yours, but I might give you this one. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be. So if that happens, if they haven't replaced that unit, then that might tell you, you know what I'm saying, well, wait a little while. Nah, it's against the law. That's against our law, right? I ain't waiting for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I came back. I paid you back the money. You got my collateral. You give it back. Keep going.
For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin. Mm-hmm. Wherein shall he sleep? And it shall come to pass, when he cries unto me, that I will hear, for I am gracious. Mm-hmm. You shall not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of your people.
He said, you shall not curse the ruler of your people. Right? Talking about the ruler of Hebrews.
You shall not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. For the firstborn of thy son shall you give unto me. Likewise shall you do with your oxen and your sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. And you shall be holy men unto me. Neither shall you eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. You shall cast it to the dogs. You shall not raise a false report. Put thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
What chapter is that?
23.
Okay, so now we in chapter 23. He said, you shall not raise a false report or put your hand with the wicked, you know what I'm saying, to do wickedness. All right, watch what he say next.
To be an unrighteous witness. You shall not follow a multitude to do evil.
Right? So don't just follow the masses and do something evil just because it's the masses. Right? Keep going. There's a lot of that going on.
Neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
Right? He said, then also don't just speak up on the cause just to confuse the judgment of a situation. Right? Whether you for the majority or riding with the majority or against the majority. Right? He said, don't just speak up on the call. Make sure everything you saying is true and beneficial to the judgment. Keep going.
Neither shall you thou countenance a poor man in his cause. If you meet thine enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of him that has hated thee lying under his burden and wouldn't forbear to help him, you shall surely help with him. You shall not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blinds the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. So now we're getting into plain old commandments. He's just telling you what to do and what not to do. He's not telling you what the punishment is for these. Keep going. Also, you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. In 6 years you shall sow thy land and shall gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner you shall deal with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days shall you do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. And your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. 3 times shall you keep the feast unto me in the year. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded you, in the time appointed of the month of Abib. For in it you came out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. In the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which you have sown in the field, in the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, which you have gathered in your labors out of the field, 3 times in a year, all your males shall appear before the Lord God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning.
So now he's telling us 2 things about sacrifices. You cannot offer sacrifices with leavened bread. In other words, with bread that has risen, right? You cannot offer sacrifices with leavened bread. So at this point, this is the first instruction that we're getting around sacrifices, right? We don't have priests at this point. We don't have Levites, none of this stuff. Well, we have Levites, but they haven't been instructed in a way of as we understand Levites today, right? So he's just giving this instruction to all the people. If you make a sacrifice, don't you do it with leavened bread, right? Then he also say, don't let the meat of the sacrifice sit over for what?
Until the morning.
Until the morning. Don't let that happen. Right? Keep going.
The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. You shall not see the kid in his mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel.
So in other words, you can't kill a goat, right?
And then boil him
in his mama's milk, right? You can't milk his mama, get some milk, kill her baby, and then boil him in her milk. You know, they said, no, that's just against our law. He just said, that's just nasty. You just don't do no stuff like that. Go ahead and get the other one. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know what I'm saying? Get the other milk, you know what I'm saying? Then you figure it out, but don't do it in the mother's milk. Keep going.
Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. My angel shall go before you and bring you unto the Amorites, the Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, Jebusites, and I will cut them off. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images.
That's right.
And you shall serve Yahuwah your God, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
Go back a little bit to when they talk about throwing down the sacrifices. Talk about the Amorites.
For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee into the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
Right? So he's giving us very specific individuals, right? People, groups of people. And he's saying, to these people, I'm going to take you over there, and I'm going to cut these people off. Then watch what he say next.
Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works. But you shall utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And you shall serve Yahuwah your God, and shall bless your bread and your water. And he shall bless your bread and your water. And I will take the sickness away from the midst of thee. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom you shall come. And I will make all thy enemies turn their backs unto thee. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against you. By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before thee. You shall make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if you serve their gods, I will surely be a snare. It will surely be a snare unto thee. That's it.
So you can see that the Most High God is starting to lay out how things are going to play out. He's looking like, listen, y'all going to go over there, and these specific individuals, I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to send some hornets up in there before you. Don't worry about it. We're going to clean it up together. I just need y'all to do what I say. But here's the kicker. I'm not going to do it all at one time. Don't think you about to walk out and just get the whole land all at once. I'm going to do it little by little. He told them that. It's exactly how it was going to play out. The people started to get scared, though, right? But he told them, I'm going to do it little by little. What you got? I can do it. He said, I'm going to do it little by little, just little by little, because I can't, you know what I'm saying, give y'all the whole land. It's a whole lot of land. You know, I can't just get all y'all the whole land at one time. So keep going. This is chapter 24, Exodus chapter 24. Watch the book say.
And he said unto Moses, Come up unto Yahuwah, thou and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship afar off. And Moses alone shall come near to Yahuwah, but they shall not come up near, neither shall the people go up with him.
Right, so now Moses went in, he telling Moses, okay, come even closer now. And the other ones, had them come up now too, but don't let them get as close as you about to get. Right? Watch this.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice, and said, all the words which the Lord had said, we will do.
So now all that we just read, it went directly to Moses. Moses sitting up in the smoke, hearing it. All the people just off far off, and they just kind of looking like, and we heard this. We heard them 10 words come out, right? The 10 commandments come out from the voice of the Most High God. That thing was scary. We stopped them. We was like, Moses, we just want to hear from you. Moses went up there. He been gone this whole time. Then all of a sudden, he come back down. When he come back down, he started explaining all this stuff that he just heard from the Most High God, all everything that we just read. He started giving that to the people like, yo, so he told me this, and this is what y'all got to do, and this is what y'all got to do. So that was the continuation of the 10. The 10 was given, stop. Moses goes up, he gets the rest, he comes back down, he gives the people the rest, and then after he gives it all to the people, they said, what?
All that the Lord said, we will do.
So they agreed to it, and they was like, okay, good, we'll do that, right? Let's see, keep going.
Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he set young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahuwah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in the basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah has said we will do, and be obedient.
So now, again, he read to them the same laws that we just went over, and then they agreed again and said, everything that you say, we gonna do. So this is now 3 times that they've made that statement and agreed, right? So that's 3 witnesses for this. Keep going, watch this.
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah has made with you concerning all these words. Then went up to Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, as it were, a body of heaven in its clearness.
Right, so now there's always 3 components to a covenant when we're talking about the Bible, right? The first component is going to be the promises or the terms. I wouldn't say necessarily promises, but the terms. The terms in this case is going to be those commandments and the promises that came along with them, right? The Most High God said, listen, if you do these things, he started in 2019, right? If you do these things, this is what you're going to be to me. Then he ended it off as well. Hey, this is what I'm going to do for you if you listen to what I'm saying, right? So at 19 and then 23, he's telling them what he's going to do, and everything in between is the terms of the agreement, right? So you got the terms of the agreement. The next piece is there has to be some type of blood. So now Moses made a sacrifice, and he sprinkled the blood on the people. So we had a blood. What's the last piece?
You got to eat.
You got to eat, right? There has to be some type of sharing of food, right? So that's the only piece that we haven't seen in this covenant. Let's see. Let's keep going.
And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in its clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink.
And did eat and drink. So that's why the Most High God invited the 70 up. He said they can't get as close as you here, but I need them to be here because we all need to eat. And these are the judges of the people. Remember, where did these judges come from?
When what's my man's name? Jethro.
Right? Moses' father-in-law told him in the 18th chapter, look, you can't do all this by yourself. Set up some men of tens and hundreds and thousands. And so that's where these 70 elders came from. Right? So he brought them up with him because they had to judge the people as well. So now as judges, they have to be witnesses for the people. If they're going to be witnesses, well, then you got to enjoy this food. So now you can see some sapphire feet. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mountain, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou may teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister YAHUAH, and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. And the glory of Yahuwah abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mountain. And Moses was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights.
So as far as the people are concerned, Moses just walked into the eye of consuming fire. There was a cloud and consuming fire at the top of the mountain. Moses just walked right into it, right? And he was there for 40 days and 40 nights. That's going to be really important because what we're about to go over in chapter 25 next week is going to be some of the things that the Most High God is discussing during that 40 days and 40 nights. So we're going to go through all of what he's discussing, but then on the flip side, we're going to go into how what the people are thinking during this time. So Moses told him here, like, listen, I'm about to go up in here, talk to Aaron and If y'all got any issues, they in charge. I'm about to go holler at the Most High God for a little bit. He didn't tell them that, hey, I'm going to be going for 40 days and 40 nights. They don't know how long he's going to be going. All they know is he said he's going to be gone. He just walked into death. Right? As far as we can see, that is a fire that is consuming. In other words, that's burning stuff up. That fire is burning stuff up. And he just walked into the cloud. And that cloud looks like it's covering that fire. So I'm sure he just walked into that fire, right? So that has to be our mindset. And it's like, all right, we've seen some amazing things. He'll he'll probably come down, and then 3 days pass, and it's like, yeah, Moses ain't came out yet. And then 6 days pass, and it's like, ain't nobody heard from Moses. Aaron, you know what I'm saying? You heard from Moses? Nah, he's still up there. You think he coming down for real?
It's like a month and 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you get to a month, and then 2 weeks later from that, then it's like people start having thoughts, right? So we just gonna kind of look at that. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of go over what the Most High God is discussing with Moses, and then we're gonna go into how the people react next week. Any questions?